How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and it looks like Venom could be making his way to the MCU. Actually, it looks like Venom might already be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's been a lot of talk recently about Venom and Spider-Man crossing paths in some universe sooner than later. In fact, Venom Let There Be Carnage director Andy Serkis has said that Spider-Man and Venom will indeed go face-to-face sometime in the future. He told that to IGN the other day. And what's really curious about this is that we're getting this information at the same time that we're getting all of these rumors about the Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene. And I actually think that we might have gotten a little insight from Tom Hardy, Venom himself, on what Spider-Man No Way Home's post-credit scene might actually be. And you guessed it, I'm sure, I'm thinking that one of the post-credit scenes in Spider-Man No Way Home could be about Venom. And I'll break down everything you need to know in this video. And if news like this is what you love, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest news. So let's start off by talking about the fact that Andy Serkis, the director of Venom 2, confirmed to the world the other day that Venom and Spider-Man are eventually going to meet and fight. As I mentioned, he did an interview with IGN about Venom Let There Be Carnage, and of course he was asked about Spider-Man, in which he said this: "Everyone wants to know when Venom is going to meet Spider-Man. Personally, it's not going to happen. I'm kidding. It's going to happen. The question is, when? We don't want to rush it." So we no longer have to wonder if it's going to happen. Andy Serkis confirms right now it is going to happen. And about a month ago, Tom Hardy also came out and said that he is going to push for Venom 3 to be a Venom vs. Spider-Man film. In fact, he said he is going to do whatever he can do to make that happen if the studios are on board with it. He compared Spider-Man vs. Venom to an Olympic gold medal, and basically said that's the goal. That's what you aim for, the Olympic gold medal, and he'd be crazy not to shoot for gold. So Andy Serkis says that it's going to happen, and Tom Hardy says that he's gonna do whatever he can do to make it happen. So I'm gonna assume it's gonna happen. And obviously they know more than they're telling us, and this could actually affect Spider-Man No Way Home. Or should I say Spider-Man No Way Home could drastically affect Venom vs. Spider-Man. Especially if you consider the rumors going around about Venom Let There Be Carnage's post-credit scene. The rumor is that the post-credit scene will connect to Tom Holland's Spider-Man in some way, shape, or form. And yes, I have heard all of the rumors about it in detail. I'm just not going into detail in case some of those people out there don't want those spoilers. But if the rumors end up being true and the Venom post-credit scene does connect to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, this does heavily imply that the two of them are going to meet. And it actually applies that they'll meet sooner rather than later. And here's the big news. Last night, Tom Hardy gave us more to look into. He posted a picture of himself wearing a Spider-Man No Way Home hat that was given to the crew of No Way Home. So things are getting a little bit more curious now. Now, this doesn't mean that he's in the movie. Someone could have just given this to him. However, considering all of this other information that we've gotten recently, there is a possibility that he is in the movie. And if he is actually in the movie, I have to give them credit, I guess, because this is the one secret that they were able to keep from us. Although I guess if we're talking about this and it ends up being true, it wasn't really a well-kept secret, so yeah. But there are actually a couple of ways that Venom could appear in Spider-Man No Way Home that actually make a ton of sense. The first one is the post-credit scene. Obviously, since it's a Marvel movie, there are going to be two post-credit scenes like almost every other Marvel movie out there. Spider-Man Far From Home had two post-credit scenes, so we can assume that it'll have two. One is obviously going to be about Doctor Strange and setting something serious up for the Multiverse of Madness. Strange is a huge part of this movie, and obviously this movie jumps right into the events of Multiverse of Madness, so it's going to set that up somehow. But what could the other one be about? Well, since one will probably be about Doctor Strange, the other should be Spider-Man related. And since the Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene is rumored to be about Spider-Man, it would make sense that the Spider-Man No Way Home post-credit scene could be about Venom, especially if that is Spider-Man's next movie. Because think about it, let's say everything comes true, which I fully believe it will, but you never know. But let's say everything comes true. Tobey Maguire shows up, Andrew Garfield shows up, and we already know all of the villains are going to show up, and it's all just going to be pretty epic. So how do you outdo that in the next film? Where do you go from here? Well, the one thing that we wouldn't have seen in this movie is Venom. Spider-Man finally going up against Venom. This could be Sony and Marvel's next move, finally do a Spider-Man vs. Venom film. Obviously, the director and Tom Hardy are thinking about it, which means the studios have probably already been talking about this. Especially if the rumors for Venom Let There Be Carnage's post-credit scene are true. So this movie could be right around the corner, and perhaps we could be seeing some sort of a setup in the Spider-Man No Way Home post-credit scene. The other way that Venom could appear in Spider-Man No Way Home is that he could be the 6th member of the Sinister Six. Right now, we only know 5 villains of the Sinister Six, all of which we kind of saw in the trailer. We have Doc Ock, of course, we have the Green Goblin, we have Electro, we have Sandman, and we pretty much know that that weird figure in the dark, creeping up behind Peter, is the Lizard. We have no idea who the 6th villain is. Even some of the leaks that we've had that were pretty accurate say that they don't know who the 6th villain is. Could the 6th one be Venom? Is this why nobody knows who the 6th villain is? Because it's such a big secret because it's so big? I admit that this one is a little less likely to happen, and I wouldn't bet any money on it happening, but dang, would it be cool if Venom was the 6th member. Because you could totally have Venom with all of these other classic villains, but then you could still have a Venom vs. Spider-Man film because this film could set up the next one. I personally would really love to see this. But what does it actually mean if Venom does cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home? And even if it is just a small cameo, it does have some huge implications, especially if the post-credits of Venom 2 do hint at Spider-Man. What does this mean? Are the universes one now? Did the Venom universe suffer from the snap? Or did they somehow get combined by whatever multiversal effect is happening? Also, you have to keep in mind that the origin of Venom has completely changed from the comics. In the comics, Venom first bonds to Spider-Man. Peter Parker was the first person to wear the Venom symbiote in 1984 in the Secret War storyline. Peter Parker wore the symbiote suit for a while until it started to affect him in a negative way. Then he parted ways with the suit. It then found its way to Eddie Brock, and it bonded with him, and it would hold a pretty big grudge against Spidey, which is why Venom despises Spider-Man so much typically. Now, eventually Venom goes on to become an anti-hero, but there is a lot of hate towards Spider-Man in the beginning. But obviously this story didn't come anywhere close to happening in the Spider-Man universe over at Sony. Will Venom still hate Spider-Man for whatever reason? Do Eddie Brock and Venom go to New York to investigate this whole Spider-Man Mysterio who killed who case? From there, does it lead to Eddie working with J. Jonah Jameson at the Daily Bugle? After all, we have seen the Daily Bugle in the Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer, so there is a connection there. Could J. Jonah Jameson saying that Spider-Man is a menace cause Venom and Eddie Brock to want to fight him and stop him? We do really have a lot of endless possibilities here. But that's actually the really cool thing, the possibility of Venom actually appearing in Spider-Man No Way Home, either in the movie or in the post-credit scene. But let me know what you think about all of this. Do you think that we're going to see Venom in Spider-Man No Way Home in some way, shape, or form? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, and for live updates, you can always follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.